Hi guys, Chuck here, and we're back in Planet Crafter for another episode. Uh, got quite a few things going on here, so you can see we're getting pretty close to trees, and then after that, I think is breathable atmosphere, but I'd have to look that up. But right before we signed off the last time, we unlocked a new tech, and that is, well, we unlocked two things: the flares, which they're helpful, but like if you're exploring wrecks, you can find your way back out. But the explosive, I really want to build some of those. So let's make a couple of those. That's what we're gonna make quite a few of them. We made two and then we ran out of explosive powder. So let's see if I picked up any more explosive powder and dumped in any of these miscellaneous storages. No, we'll take the two we have. Well, I got two more. I can make another bomb. So we'll make one more bomb. And then that'll give us three. And that'll give us a start to explore one of these areas that you have to blow stuff up to get into. Because there's quite a few of them. In fact, I think maybe a couple episodes ago, or even maybe yesterday, we were encountering some of those. And I know there's one back behind those waterfalls. So I think, let's dump all this stuff that we have. And I want to kind of head out there with just those. Even going to dump the super alloys here. And that circuit board, because we'll be able to get more circuit boards. Not to mention the osmium, which alright, you can dump that iron back over here. And we'll keep that food on me. In fact, I'm going to grab a couple more pieces of food and some water. We're going to head straight out and go blow some stuff up. Sounds like just a barrel of fun. So, not ready. There's a squash ready. All right. Let me grab some water, and I'm gonna need some oxygen too. Although not too much longer, we're not gonna need oxygen bottles. That is gonna be really nice. Grab some water, and I don't know if I have any cobalt in here. I have, that's enough for two. We're going to need more than that, probably. So let's go check the extractors. See if we can grab some more cobalt. Alright. Eventually, we're going to put the higher tier extractors everywhere, even replace these. But I don't think there's any need to do that right now, since it's given us all the basic materials that we would probably want anyway. The advantage to the tier 3s, eventually we're going to go all with tier 3s, is because you can set each one to only mine a particular thing. And so that's that way you don't have you go over to these and there's like 4 or 5 different minerals in there. But when you have the tier 3s, you can get an extractor to only mine for iron, and then you can set one to only get cobalt, whatever you want. So that's a pretty nice deal then when you get that. Now I'm gonna make sure that Alright, the car's inventory is empty, so let's go ahead and grab it. Now, there's so many of those areas where we can blow up walls. But I think for now, we're going to head over. It probably, you know what I need to think about, there's another upgrade. Because right now, it's faster to do this than it is to drive the car. But we unlocked a speed increase for the car a while back. So we're going to probably build that. But I want to check out some of these areas that we have to blow stuff up to get to. Now, I know that one of them's behind a waterfall, so that's kind of why we're headed over this way for now. And I don't know if it's behind this particular waterfall. Oh, look at all this stuff. Well, that's certainly interesting. I don't recall seeing that before. But here we are. Now, I'm going to do a quick save. Actually, I'm going to drop the car down and get a air breather here. Whoops. Come on. Alright. Probably should not leave the car so close to there. That should be far enough away, because we're going to set off a bomb here. I'm trying to remember how to use these things. If I just hit... I don't want to use it there. Can I pick it up there? Whoops, I just triggered it back here, and I didn't mean to. And it didn't do anything. Well, that kind of stinks. So, you know that. You can't... I guess you can select it. No, you have to hit use, and then you're going to drop it right there. And then you hit trigger, and then you jump back, and... Oh, we just blew up part of it. I think we might need another bomb. And I'm a little ticked off that I wasted one. Because once you drop it, you can't pick it back up. That didn't even get us all the way through, so we need to go build more bombs. Well, I'm just going to leave the car right there. Now, that kind of stinks. Probably should have done a save point right before I went in there to do that. That way... Well, look here. Holy moly. Yeah, let's grab all that. Now I... Might be able to slap another big reactor down now. And we know that that takes a little more than 2 bombs to blow a hole in that. So I'm going to need to make, what, 3 or 4 more just to get in that area. And then we'll have to make more to get in other areas. Because those are scattered all around the map. And there's some really interesting biomes. There are wrecks in there. And all sorts of loot that we can get. Now, I'm gambling here that I can make it all the way back here on 1 oxygen without having to use one of the bottles. And it looks like we're barely gonna squeak in here. Alright, so we're gonna need some explosive powder. Now I think that takes sulfur and iridium. Now if I don't have more sulfur, we're gonna have to go get some sulfur. Well, let's grab some iridium, and let's put these rods back in storage, and let's put those in storage. And I guess let me check and see exactly. Explosive powder needs 2 sulfur and iridium, and one of these bombs takes 2 explosive powder, so we're gonna need about like 8, because I'm gonna make like 4 bombs. We're gonna be like 8 pieces of sulfur. So I will be right back. I'm gonna go grab some sulfur. All right, I'm back, and I went to the sulfur extractor and only found 3 pieces. So I had to go in that cave where the osmium is, and there's sulfur in there too. And I remember we had put in an extractor in the osmium cave, and we had a ton of osmium in there. So I went ahead and grabbed a bunch of that. Unfortunately, I filled my inventory, so now... And I grabbed the sulfur we needed, and of course I found some uranium, which I went ahead and grabbed while I was there. And... well, now I'm running out of places to put stuff. So let's go make, and I found another zeolite, which I went ahead and grabbed while I was out. Now let's go ahead and make these explosive powders. All right. Now we should be able to make... oh, we need more of those circuit boards. I dumped them all out of my inventory like a dummy. I know I've got a few. Alright. Those things are fairly important, but now we can get a lot of them if we go back to all the wrecks that we had explored earlier. Because now with the Tier 2 deconstruct ship, we can go back to those wrecks. I thought I made more explosive powder than that. So I've only got 2 more bombs. I thought I had... well, 2 will have to do for there. And that should finish that area off. And then we should be able to get into... not ready, not ready... mushroom. Alright. We got 2 bottles of water left. We still got all that oxygen. I haven't used any of it yet. Now, let's put those circuit boards back in here. And let's head back over there. See what we can see. And there's a lot of those areas. Like I said, they're all over the map. And where you gotta blow stuff up to get in. Now, another thing we might do after we get done exploring this particular area is there are GPS rockets that we can launch that will put more information on the map screen. And some of those are really handy because they'll show you, you know, those deconstructible walls. You'll be able to see on the map where these different areas are. And that's the other thing I keep forgetting is there's a beacon that you can build to put on your car. And that would be fairly handy to have that. Alright, let's try this again. But remember, get right up here before we use it. Okay, we got a little farther in and there's another one. Let's hope that this one just blows up for us. And I don't have to go back and make more bombs just to get in here. Alright, we got in. And guess what? Open. Well, I think this is one of these areas where you have to have these key cards that you get from other wrecks to get into this one. So we just used up those bombs, and what do we got? We can't get in there. So we'll have to make more bombs and get into some other areas to get these key cards. I kind of forgot about those. Some of the areas we could get into right away, and others we can't. So might as well pick the car up, take it with us. Now, that's a little disappointing. I picked the wrong one right off the bat. Now, what is this little area here? It kind of makes you wonder. Well, that's nothing we can interact with there. Can't deconstruct it either. Yeah, I'm just gonna walk through here and see anything interesting jumps out. Just an awful lot of stuff. So if anything, we at least saw how to make the bombs and how to blow up the walls. But that particular area wasn't anything that found any use out of. So we're going to go back here and look into building these other rockets that we need. And I'm going to Alright, let's save our oxygen. You know, I kind of like the first-person view a little, I don't know. Feels more immersive, a little, maybe easier control as well. So let's get back here. Let's look at those rockets and what type of ingredients we need to launch a couple of them. Then might look into some car upgrades. Alright, didn't get stuck that time, unlike that other time there. So, let's check that out. We look at that, we're almost at trees. So what do we need? Well, everything's kind of ticking up, but heat needs to go a little faster. Well, let's check out those GPS rockets. If we can get those launched, and we get a little more information on our map screen, that would be good. So we need to make another compass microchip and 2 alloys and a rocket engine. Let's do that. Need to make another compass microchip. Where would that be? Ah, over there. So, silicon, magnesium, and 2 aluminums. Let's make that really quick. We need 2 super alloys and a rocket motor. I know I got plenty of rocket motors. And we got enough alloys, although I was kind of wanting to make that alloy rod to put down another one of those. I think it was a power plant or another extractor. Anyway, let's get this thing launched. Now let's look at what the next one takes. Okay, it's just a matter of more geolocation. And that allows you to move the map. We need a lot of super alloy for that one. And what's this other rocket down here? Is a drone visualization rocket, which we don't really need yet. Anyway, let's see what that did. I'm not sure it did a whole heck of a lot. I mean, it shows us our current location, which I guess is kind of important. Now let's okay, there's the waterfall region where we were. Because I remember previously, I seem to remember that, unless I'm just kind of mistaking, that you saw a lot of details, like those destructible walls and things like that. So maybe it has to do with getting all of those things launched. So we can still see the different biomes. Okay, now let's check. We want to build another one of those. We need a super alloy rod for another T2 extractor. So yeah, that's kind of what I need to do. And I used some alloys. I have a couple more here, and hopefully all right. Well, we need one more. So, you know what that means. But for now, I'm going to check the cost of these upgrades as well while we're here. I think we've, well, a T3 inventory increase. I think we have enough stuff to make that. We might make that. But it's the speed increase that I'm really interested in. And there's 3 stages to that. And this beacon, well, we're going to need a couple more super alloys for that. So I'd like to get the beacon and the speed increase on the car. So we're going to need 2 zeolite and actually 4 zeolite. We're going to have to make 2 of those to get to the T2. And then the T2 is going to need 2 of the T2s. So we're going to need a bunch of zeolite and these quartz and explosive powders. Alright, so know what we need there. Now we're going to run down here. And like a dummy, I should have left with full air, but I dilly-dallied around back there. We're going to check the extractor, and hopefully there's some super alloys there. Then we can make a rod, and we make that rod, we're going to put a T2 extractor down in the uranium cave. And we got a few alloys here, that's good. Got quite a few. Might be able to make a couple rods. All right. I always get twisted around in here. And then like, okay, there's the extractor. Now, there we are. Don't know why I do that. Didn't I have... Let's see if I do or not. I think I had built one of those little buildings that I could duck into. Yeah, there it is. I thought I had one of those over here. Let's save us from making another oxygen canister. Oh, the air filter. All right, that's we must have reached the tree stage now. Well, let's see. Oh, insects are the next stage. I was hoping it was breathable atmosphere, because when we get 12% on the breathable atmosphere is when we unlock the trade rockets. And I'm really itching to start using those. Now, I came back here to get some super alloy rods. So I think I can make maybe 2 of them. Which would be kind of nice if I can. Yes. So that means a couple tier 2 extractors. Let's figure out what we need to make those. We need, of course, 2 iridium rods and 3 osmium. So I need 6 osmium and 4 iridium rods, which I have. Now let's see about that osmium. Hopefully that doesn't knock us out of power. So let's check about another reactor. Well, we need 3 uranium rods. And I just don't think I have that many. I have 1 and not enough uranium to make another one. So we're going to get down here and we're going to put, let me get a drink of water. Oh, that's iridium rods there. We're going to put this extractor down and hope it doesn't immediately knock us out. And if that happens, we'll have to maybe dismantle one of these T1s for the time being, like the one right there in the aluminum area. So we'll see. But I really need, because the reason I need this uranium is we need to start getting more uranium so we can make rods to build more reactors. So it'd be the ultimate irony if I put this down here for that express purpose, and then of course it knocks my power out, or it knocks me short. Anyway, let's just put that right here. Warning, low power. Yep, that hit us. So I'm not going to remove that because obviously we need the uranium to get more power. Now I hope we're pretty close, and then maybe I can build a smaller reactor. Did it just up and get dark on me? Yeah, it did. And now I can't see where the heck I'm going. That was a little disturbing. There's a cave back here, but I think it's iridium and not uranium. If it's uranium, I would be a very happy camper. Let's go check it out. But I believe it was iridium in here. Or other stuff. Well, yeah, that was some iridium. Grab that piece of zeolite. Well, we're gonna find our way out of here. Well, I got a little twisted around in this cave now. There we go. That's the way we came in. There's our life pod down there, which kind of brought up something I was thinking about, and maybe I should have tried it before all the water came up. Because I wondered if I had built, say, a base on the bottom of that lake, and then, you know, built a multi-story structure, so the top floor would be above the water level. And then when the water came up, if I walked into the top floor and then decided to take ladders down, if the bottom part would be flooded or not. I don't know if the game does that. And I don't imagine now I could go build one on the bottom of the water. But maybe I'll try that sometime. So, where are we? Obviously, we need some uranium. We're going to need power. And we can't make 3. So, we're going to go to our blueprints. We're going to take hide lower tiers off so we can see that. And so I need to get that uranium rod, a couple water bottles, and hopefully that does the trick. Wow, that did not do the trick. So we are stuck with having to do more of those. So let's raid our extractors. Hopefully there's cobalt in there. Well, 1. That's kind of annoying. Slightly. So I need another cobalt and another aluminum, and I just took all this stuff. So let's grab that cobalt here. Well, still didn't do the trick. So we need some more cobalt, silicone, and aluminum. No cobalt there. But we're just going to have to find some. So I'll be right back when I've hunted down some cobalt. Okay, now we've got power back. I just decided to go ahead and build the solar panel, and I had to build like 2 more before we got power. But we're back. We are powered again, and so we're going to get to insects. So when we get that, you can pick up these larvae lying around, and that gets quite interesting because we can start, you put the larvae, you can put them into these incubators and make butterflies and bees, and be able to grow beehives, get honey, all sorts of interesting stuff that's coming shortly. Let's take a look here right now. As you can see, nuclear fusion at 750. And right now we're at 534, and it's climbing. And we get a tree spreader at 600. And we just unlocked the air filter. Could probably build that pretty soon. And the T3 ore extractor, we got a ways to go for that. That's going to be really nice when we get that. So let me look at that air filter, and that's kind of nice because you don't burn as much oxygen moving around with that. I don't know if that's going to be here or on the other crafter, though. I think it might be on the other one. So let's check that out. It is. And do we have enough to make that. We might. Let's look for fabric and a methane cartridge and another bioplastic. So there's the bioplastic. Now, let's see if I have any of that fabric, because I know I was picking it up occasionally. And there's the methane. And there's the fabric. So, is that everything I needed? Oh, I need a super alloy. Do I have any of those left? I think I've been scattering those among different containers. And who knows where I put them. I have one more miscellaneous storage over here. And it doesn't have any, but I got a lot of zeolites. Anyway, I'm going to have to run to the cave to get one more super alloy just to make that. And I don't... So we're going to call it a day here for now. So when we come back, we'll have to build that. And we're going to be probably exploring around a bit. We're going to raid the... by then the extractor should have some uranium. We'll be able to get some more uranium rods and get some more power generators down. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it maybe a little bit informative. If so, please like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time.